Wake up, it's time for Mandalorian.
I'm Calvin.
Rick.
And we're back with Mandalorian, where previously we had Grief and Kara and a vehicle.
And a
troop transport. Yes, it was a fantastic episode in which we fixed the Razor Crest, and now we're back on course to go to the forest planet of Corvus. To meet...
Corvus.
Someone. Meet Corvus?
Commander Corvus.
It's like a planet like, hi.
That would be kind of cool.
Well, like an ego, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a poll last time on The Mandalorian.
I'm
not ready.
P-O-L-E. All that time you didn't have this open?
Nope, was talking about...
backflaps.
Yeah. So the poll last week was, what do you think Moff Gideon, I couldn't think of his rank, is going to use the research that the scientist is doing
what is his goal, right?
That's close.
Shadow troopers.
He's gonna give the Force to soldiers.
He's gonna
give the Force
troopers
to himself. He's gonna try to resurrect Palpatine, or a mixture of the above.
He wants to save the Yoda race.
That's pretty much it.
Single-handedly.
So, let's see. 4% of people said none of these.
Well, okay.
10% said give the Force to himself. 15% said resurrect Palpatine. 20% said give the Force to soldiers. And then 50% said a combination of these.
Oh, okay. Why would we put that as an option?
Also, none
someone told me to.
What was the question?
You told him to.
The question is, what do you think Moff Gideon's goal with the experiments are?
I don't think I told him anything.
Didn't you?
No, I think he made it up himself.
I've done that.
Enough.
Yeah. Sometimes it wasn't even mentioned in the video. He added it in.
You know who I hope's on this planet?
Huh.
Grown-up Lumpy.
What?
Dip says, I think it's getting Palpatine back, but I can see him just wanting the power of the Force for himself.
Be grown up yet, would he?
I had a great idea last week.
They're not adults until
Forget what it was.
Okay. Niall Larkin says, those look like dark troopers, so I think that's what the child is for. They're taking his blood and giving it to troopers so they can wield the Force.
Larkin?
Shadow troopers. Yep.
I think I'm Bryce Larkin.
He knew what he meant. We knew what he meant.
Did we?
The last Senzu Bean.
And I got it wrong too.
The last Senzu Bean says he is capturing Mandalorians, turning them into Force-sensitive soldiers, and then spreading fear throughout the galaxy. Either that, or it's a private collection of Death Troopers to protect him from whispers of the Emperor.
So you think he took like all the Mandalorians? Like, remember all the helmets?
Yeah.
That they were down in the
convert?
Yeah.
If I was gonna make a droid, I would probably make it out of Beskar.
Daniel says, I was just shocked to hear midichlorians referenced in modern Star Wars. That's right.
MCAT.
That's right.
The M could have stood for mana. It could have been anything.
Shut the... You fucking
Count, what'd you say?
son of a bitch.
M-count.
Oh, he said income. Like income? But, I don't know.
Strange things.
Trevor says, is it just me or does that clone look like Snoke, kind of? Yeah, I mean, I would probably put that as in the Palpatine
Just you.
thing. Yep. Yeah, that is pretty much all the responses. There was also a thing that I definitely missed that when they were on the Navarro, like, town square.
Not the guy in the jeans.
No, definitely, we saw that.
Oh, okay.
But in the town square of Navarro, as you're going into the school, in the background there's a statue of IG-11. Like, it seems like Grief, like, really liked that droid and what he did.
I mean, he saved him.
As a memorial, he, like, made a statue of IG-11 in the back. I'm like, oh, that's fucking sweet. I didn't see that.
He went out there
and, yeah. That happens sometimes in reactions. You don't get everything, but we try. We try. We're going to get started here with this episode of The Mandalorian. I do want to say before we get started that you definitely want to be subscribed to Blindwave, because starting next week, next Friday, we're actually going to be starting Star Wars Rebels with Rick and Calvin. They've seen all of Clone Wars, but they haven't seen Rebels yet, and we're going to be starting that next week, so you don't want to miss that either. Whew.
Indeed.
You guys ready?
Yes. Ow. Where are we?
know if this is Corvus.
It does not look very foresty.
I mean, this could be like the bad part.
What the hell? Are these Imperials? Or no?
No.
That one guy.
That one
okay,
guy-
no.
Ah! Oh my god, already!
What are you doing, huh? Oh my gosh!
That's crazy.
What?
Damn it!
Oh, that's
That's cool!
It fell back down. Oh my god. Oh my god.
God.
I've lost visual for movement.
Found her.
She looks.
Dude, I love these sabers.
That's so badass!
Music.
That's so good. I love that. I love her little cloak thing she's wearing.
Not
I love the
expecting
lightsabers on and off stuff. I love the Jedi. I love the Jedi.
She moves a lot slower than Clone Wars.
You don't say anything negative. 1 year.
For 1 year. What? In general?
Never.
What's up with these guys?
They're
Aliens? Like
lording over these poor people that Ahsoka's trying to save. Look at that. It's terrible. That's terrible.
or else they get shocked.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We must be close.
Reminds me of the fire swamp.
Look. There's like an owl.
It's yeah, that's an owl.
False alarm.
No.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
That was good.
Katano!
Check
I
that out.
hope it's about him.
They're conversing.
They are. It's
It's
amazing.
amazing.
Grogu and I can feel each other's thoughts.
Grogu?
Grogu.
Grogu?
Grogu.
He spoke his name for the first time.
What's his name?
His name is Grogu?
I'll call him Kakarot.
Grogu.
Yes.
He was raised at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant.
What?
What?
Many masters trained him over the years. I've only known one other being like this.
Fucking forget Yaddle, Jesus.
A wise Jedi master named Yoda.
Yeah, I wasn't there when she was there.
You're right.
Grogu.
Grogu. I don't know. I'm gonna get used to that.
Me too.
Grogu.
Huh? He always responds. It's like a
Take the
puppy.
stone.
Take out the thing.
You're right.
He's a little ball.
He'll love that. Of course I take it.
Oh, that's
Yes!
fucking well written.
Yes!
It's like a rock.
Grogu.
Look what I got.
Oh, hell yeah, give me that. She.
Do you want this?
Looks like a little Death Star, doesn't it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, mine.
Good job. Good job, kid.
Cannot train him.
What?
What?
Why not? You've seen what he can do.
His attachment to you makes him vulnerable to his fears.
Oh.
His anger. I've seen what such feelings can do to a fully trained Jedi Knight. To the best of us.
A Mandalorian and a Jedi? They'll never see it coming.
It's true.
Walk in with her captured. Do the old Chewie trick.
Yeah.
Is that like a noise or is that like the music?
It's music, idiot.
Well, the gongs I thought was music in the beginning and it ended up being gongs, Eric.
Depends on what your definition of music is, Aaron.
You're such a fool.
Something was going gong. That's not music.
You can't watch it, so you're making a noise.
It was making a noise. She gonna jump? Ah! Oh! We can do that. Oh, no more gong.
Oh, man.
Oh. What?
Where is your master?
Your master. Poor guy. You see his ribcage?
Execute them.
Yep, it's a skull.
Then go door to door.
What?
Door to door.
Please don't.
Oh, yeah.
Stop
Oh, that lady. She was gonna.
it. Yeah. That guy.
Oh, is that the guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the lady hiding in the doorway earlier. Like in the
No,
beginning.
it was a guy hiding in the doorway.
Was it the guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's always the little old lady peeking around the door.
There's not always little old lady, Calvin. I keep telling you.
Yes!
He's haunted.
That's you.
Sees her everywhere. Oh!
That's so good. I love it. Ooh, the way they did that, I loved
She
it.
opened them up into each other?
I think she
was
just turned
one
them
behind
on
the
and she was
other.
just pulling them back, but it looks so good.
God, I hope they have a fight.
With that, yeah.
Yeah. Who's your
fun.
master? Who's her master?
I don't know. Master, like, for what?
The sound effects are so good.
Yeah.
It's interesting seeing it on Beskar, like, the way it operates. Oh. Oh.
Just the left hand.
The short
You
one.
and I, we're a lot alike. Willing to lay our lives down for the right cause.
What cause are you fighting for?
Which this is not.
She's gonna leave.
Yeah. What did it say?
As I'm waiting for her. This is enough. I'll see you later. Ooh, reverse grip.
She's going southpaw.
Here it comes.
Too
Ah!
slow.
No!
Behind you.
He's so fast.
I'd be looking around the other roof too.
Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Thrawn.
Oh! Okay, I've heard that name before.
Oh, what?
Ah, yes!
I believe this was your payment.
Yes.
Go to the planet Tython. There you will find the ancient ruins of a temple that has a strong connection to the Force. Place Grogu on the Seeing Stone at the top of the mountain.
Then what?
Then Grogu may choose his path.
Huh.
Tython's the first planet in the Old Republic, right? The Jedi planet? Look at our girl. Oh, the music.
Damn it. Is it over already? Man.
Dave Filoni.
Well, I'm glad he directed it.
Oh!
Oh, look at that. It's so cool.
All right, so we kicked out Rick and Calvin so that me and Aaron can talk here. Obviously, there is some really interesting things.
Well, I want to make sure we say too, like with Calvin and Rick, they haven't caught up on everything. As we said, we're gonna be doing Rebels here, so they've seen a couple things of Rebels. They've also seen all of Clone Wars, things like that. So this gives Eric and I a little bit of freedom to talk about some things, but when we bring them back in, obviously we won't talk about some stuff.
Yeah.
So rather than having you guys be like, well, don't you remember this? Yes, we remember all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
We
that's
just can't talk about everything.
There's so many
Here.
comments of people being like, "You fucking idiots, you forgot." I'm like, no.
No. We remember. Just usually we don't talk about those with other people around. So
Yeah, so if you haven't seen Raby Rebels or anything like that, you don't want to know, our editor is going to put the time code where you can skip ahead. Okay, so the first thing I had with this, I mean, obviously the owl that we saw in the.
Yeah, I was like-
I freaked out and I couldn't do anything.
well, when we were doing it too, I'm like, oh wow, look, it's an owl. You're like, yeah, that's an owl. Damn it, dude, shut the fuck up.
I mean, I believe they've seen the owl. It happened at the end of Clone Wars, so they've seen it before. They just don't realize that it's going to be something that keeps coming back.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we did see the owl. For those that don't know, I mean, it's kind of this
It has a connection
like
to
familiar
to the sister,
figure that follows Ahsoka's life.
right? There's
Yeah.
familiarity with his sister from the Mortis trilogy.
The
and
daughter,
stuff too.
but
yeah,
yes.
the daughter. Sorry.
Yeah.
Where like there's that, and
Yeah.
there's the following around from Ahsoka through Rebels and stuff too. And there's also a little bit I feel like with like the owl like Mandalorian group too. Like there's just a lot of owl stuff.
True.
around,
Yeah. I mean,
where,
I
like,
definitely
there's
feel.
lots of owl connections to Ahsoka.
I feel definitely the connection with the daughter the most because the daughter literally gave up her essence, her life to save Ahsoka, and that kind of follows her.
Yeah.
We had the ignition sequence from
that was so good.
from Twilight of the Apprentice.
It's so good.
That my back arched and I couldn't stop because I was just so accepting of what I was seeing.
What?
I was just like,
that's your response?
That's my response. It was a physical response on my body. I just had to kind of keep it in because I love that moment.
It's so cool.
I mean, that is the I'm no Jedi, you know?
Yeah. It's
So
good.
I love that they brought that into live action so much. Even in terms of the look between Rebels and here, I think it matches pretty well.
And
I feel like her
she still has her white sabers with it too.
Yeah, she does. Which, I mean, honestly, we don't really give it a reason why that happens anyway, other than the fact that she's no longer.
She's not classified.
She's not a Jedi. She's not a Sith. She's not neither of those things, you know. So she's gone completely white. She's absent the sides, the blue, the red, the green. You know, she's none of those things. So it's not really a spoiler, other than to say she also has white sabers there. So
True. Yeah. I mean, the first time you see him, otherwise you're like, "Whoa, she has white sabers! Look at this!" And then here you're like, "Oh, look, there's white sabers! Look at this!" The one thing that we did have though that I think could kind of fall in there a little bit was we had her discussing how she understands attachment and what it can do to a Jedi.
Yeah.
Which technically we haven't seen that anywhere, and not with those guys, except for
with Rick and Calvin. Yeah.
In Rebels, you know, we have that Twilight of the Apprentice. We have where she realizes what's there, and she's like, "My gosh, you know, how did he turn to this?" You know,
so the thing it does spoil for them is that she realizes what happened to Anakin.
Yeah, she must realize. She must know. That must be who she's talking.
Which
to.
I don't feel like is a huge leap in terms of like, oh yeah, I mean it makes sense that she wouldn't have figured that out eventually, you know.
True. No.
But in terms of like keeping their reaction pure for Twilight of the Apprentice, I still feel pretty confident.
Yeah, it's just, you know, as it goes through, she doesn't realize who it is until you get to a point. You know.
I know you guys are like, why are you guys speaking less loud than you usually are? But the guys are gone. Calvin's like real far back, and we're just being super certain that he can't hear us.
Yes. Do we talk about the other one?
Yeah.
I love that she has a mission.
Yeah, well, it makes perfect sense. She's still looking.
Yeah, no.
She's still looking for Ezra.
This is only 5 years after.
Yeah.
The last time we saw her was 5 years ago then, with her and Sabine, where they were going off to go find Ezra.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, one, I'm like, well, what happened to Sabine? What did they do in that 5 years?
Yeah.
You know, like maybe Sabine's still around. Maybe
They could be
she
doing different things.
Maybe she went back to some kind of Mandalorian thing too with her family, because we had some stuff with that. Like, I don't know. But I'm very excited. Like, is this something that we get later in Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Is this something we get in another series or something, like an Ahsoka series? Like I would love Rosario Dawson in like an Ahsoka TV show.
Me too. I mean, if they, you know, a sequel series to Rebels specifically, I think would be fun. You know, the kid that played Ezra was casted, and Ezra kind of looks like him. You know, they did that with a lot of Taylor Gray. You're right. Yeah, I could see him playing an older Ezra. But if they're going to do that in live action, that'd be good. They can continue to do it in animation as well, you know. But I'm pretty confident that having Rosario Dawson here as Ahsoka can be a stepping stone to having her play live action other places.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. I'm really excited to see what they do with Admiral Thrawn. You know, like if the idea is that he's around, he's living, do they go into some heir of the Empire kind of stuff too, since he is around after Return of the Jedi? Is there something he's doing there? Or do they just solely go off based on what happens with Rebels and what he's doing and Ezra tie-in and all that kind of stuff, or what?
Sure, I could see some heir to the Empire stuff. Certainly not all of it anymore, because you just can't.
No.
I mean, it's one of the it revitalized Star Wars. It was responsible for, I think, the hype of the special editions coming out, because that came out in the early 90s and people were like, hey, this is fucking really cool. We like this. And then Lucasfilm being like, hey, people still like and talk about Star Wars. Lucas wants to do these special editions. Let's do them. The prequels, they come out, you know. Heir of the Empire they owe a lot of the Heir of the Empire. So I can see them doing some stuff like that. And if you do bring him into a show or live action, you absolutely cast Mikkelsen. Not Mads Mikkelsen, but his brother who played his voice. In,
Would he look like him, you think? I don't have a picture of what he looks like. So.
You seen The Witcher?
No. I've seen the first episode. Is he in the first episode?
And yeah, he's the wizard in the first episode. That's Mads Mikkelsen's brother who plays Thrawn's voice. His name is Lars Mikkelsen.
Okay.
Mikkelsen, is that how you say it?
Mads.
And he looks like this. I think he could absolutely.
Got good cheekbones
he
for
could
him.
Absolutely play
For sure.
Thrawn. I mean, he's you miss him with the beard from. He looks kind of like that in The Witcher.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I think that you could bring him in. I mean, he's been on a lot of television, so you could probably get him. You know,
get rid of the beard and stuff and paint him blue.
Obviously, Mads Mikkelsen was Galen Erso.
Yeah.
You can't bring him in as it, but I think that they could pull that off if they wanted
I don't know
to.
if Mads would work. I don't think he looks like him enough. Maybe.
I mean, if he's blue and has red eyes, he's gonna look like him.
Yeah,
you know.
True.
But yeah, I think if you do it, you cast the voice actor, because that voice is so perfect in Rebels.
It was. Oh yeah. I loved him. He's such a good villain.
Yeah.
His collecting and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's most of the stuff that we want to discuss before getting in here with Rick and Calvin, so that we don't spoil them or anything. So let's chat with them, and then we'll probably also come back for some Q&As here in a little bit as well.
Yep. Man, I want to say that was my favorite episode of The Mandalorian,
No, I mean it was great.
and not just because of Ahsoka, but like all around, the aesthetic of this episode was so unique and so samurai Kurosawa.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's unique.
I'd say it's
straight
unique.
out of Samurai.
Well, yeah, I mean unique to the rest of the show is what I mean.
Sure.
It's a standout amongst the rest of the episodes. Like,
Whereas the rest of the show has been like an American Western.
Mm-hmm.
This is like an original Western.
An Eastern
Right.
Western.
Yeah.
Calvin, you've been playing. It's probably familiar for you. You've been playing Ghost of Tsushima.
It's really familiar. It's great. I love it so much.
I also love just the. It's not what I was expecting when we were going to a forest planet.
Yeah.
You know, this like destroyed, like forest area that we're at, and all the wood looks burnt and destroyed, and it was just interesting.
Reminded me a lot of Princess Mononoke, actually. Not just the Japanese and samurai aesthetics, but also the like people coming in to industrialize this forest.
Fern Gully.
Yeah, I definitely, when I heard like the, Kaladin, the city of Kaladin on the forest plan of Corvus, I just thought like, I was kind of thinking of like Lord of the Rings, Elven. Kind
I was
of,
thinking it's gonna be green.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Galadriel's place or something, Lothlorien, but it was not.
I also wasn't expecting her to be like fighting. I thought it was gonna be more of like she's off somewhere, like maybe
hiding.
Well, in hiding, quote unquote, but like I'm not sure what to expect, because Darth Vader, the Empire has been destroyed already.
Yeah.
Like the things that are like that was hunting the Jedi, that's gone now.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like she says that there's not very many of them left, which is true. But that's because Vader and Palpatine went through and were just killing all the Jedi they could find. So I guess I was still kind of thinking of an in hiding kind of idea a little bit, but I guess I wasn't thinking of her like, I'm gonna be here.
Yeah, I also love
Screwing
that
up these people.
everyone else referred to her as a Jedi, but she didn't.
Yeah.
True.
She did not.
Yeah, like I wonder what it's like watching this episode not having seen Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you have no idea who she is or what the connection is to anything.
I understand that, but I think trying to place myself in those shoes, I would still. I mean, she's a Jedi. I get it. Like it did tell that self-contained story where, like, if you know who this character is, obviously yes, you have all these things in your head. But if you didn't, I feel it'd be kind of like a Marvel movie where, like, I don't know this hero. What do I learn about him? Like this cameo, this appearance. Like, what do I know about him? Do I still get something? You know?
I think her refusal might be a little confusing if you don't know who she is.
I don't agree. I think she's talking about attachment. If you know what the Jedi are but don't know who she is, you would still understand that Jedi feel this attachment, and it's not conclusive or inducive to training.
I think if you just watch the movies, if you're referring to her like response to being like, you know, Jedi Knight turning in the attachment conversation, like you'd be like, without any information on who she is or anything, you could be like, well, yeah, you know, Darth Vader became, you know, Anakin turned into Darth Vader because of attachment, because of what he did. Like, I understand what she means, even if I don't know maybe like what Jedi she's talking about or why she's saying that or any of that kind of stuff. You could still be like, well, I believe that because I've seen what happened to Anakin.
Yeah, we've had Yoda himself say this in Phantom Menace and in Empire. Like, I will not train him. I will not train this. There's something wrong with this student. I can't train them. I think it's right in line with what we've seen only from the movies, if we're not taking Clone Wars into account. And I mean, what she says about, like, I know what happens when a Jedi Knight has these attachments, you know? We know who she's talking about.
Yeah.
So, oh man. I thought the casting was pretty fantastic. I personally can kind of hear Ahsoka in there. I mean, I'm so attached to Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka.
Yeah.
But this like older version, it translated well for me.
I thought voice-wise, I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Like when she talked, I'm like, I can hear an Ahsoka here.
Yeah. And I'm a fan of Rosario Dawson. She's Night Nurse in all the Defender shows on Marvel Netflix, and she was awesome in Clerks too.
And Mimi and Rent.
Yeah.
I thought the makeup was really good.
Yeah.
That's one thing you gotta nail. If you're gonna nail one thing.
Those opening shots, just like she's, you know, the samurai ghost, like look.
I love the sabers on to off, you know?
Yeah, and like using the mist to like hide where she is.
And she just disappeared into it, like so easily. It was funny. There was definitely like a magical element. It felt like almost there too, because like you'd see her clearly, and then she would just fade away.
Yeah.
But it was I liked the way they played off on that.
It was a little different because she was almost walking around like a Jason Voorhees kind of thing. Like it was just slow and deliberate. You know, there wasn't a lot of like quick movements. Whereas in the show, obviously she was a lot younger then too, but she was always like very agile, very fast, very darting around. I felt like. So I felt like her movements here were much, much different, but it's animation versus live action.
I can see what you mean maybe in the transition from animation to live action. I won't agree that she was not acrobatic. I mean, one point she just fucking flipped from her, you know, she just flipped on the spot. But like going up one of the, you know, the roofs, you know, like it's television versus movies as well, you know, like you can't just straight up show, which I think is actually better. Like one shot of her, you know, flip, up here. That does, you know, I think with using like cuts and edits to hide what obviously is a pretty complicated stunt if you do it in one shot. I don't know, it's more cinematic to me. Whereas like in animation, it's easy to be like animate her flipping up and landing here and then running.
It wasn't so much that, it's more just her general movements of like her walking.
He's saying that she was slow in the beginning and stuff further, but the thing that I think is maybe the things we're not seeing could be the time that she's faster too. She's had how many years maybe having to like the little Yoda hide, you know?
You know, hiding
like
her powers to survive.
Maybe the idea of like how she is attack gone, and it's kind of methodical is a matter of like that's what she wants us to see because that's all that the enemy can see too. And she doesn't want to be seen any other time, you know? Maybe it's just
I guess just
after how many years since, you know, Clone Wars of that's what it's had to be.
True.
You know?
I guess just in the transition from animation to live action, I don't know how you would do more than what they've shown in terms of like speed and that kind of thing, you know?
I do think when she was fighting the Mandalorian, it felt like Ahsoka. Like I liked a lot of the moves and stuff that they did there.
Jumping over the tree.
Yeah, the jumping over the tree. I loved like the sabers igniting and cutting herself free and stuff too. Like there were a lot of things in that little segment. Like it wasn't very long, but that I really liked. And the ending fight, you know, like we cut away a lot. There were a lot of like slow individual hit things, which may also be maybe a little bit contributed to like a samurai kind of thing. You know, like maybe it's not going for a super fast sword fight thing. It's going from more of a artistic samurai feel while it's cutting back to like this Western. You know, you kind of have like a samurai Western thing going on over here while you have like a Western thing going on over here with these two like gunslingers about to stand off, you know? So, I don't know.
No, I agree about the final fight. I thought it was still serviceable, but it wasn't as impressive to me as the other ones. My favorite move in the entire episode was the double hit in the tree and then using the force to send just that stump and then it comes down. That was amazing.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then she's just standing there and you just see the tree fall.
Yeah.
And the sabers go off and she vanishes.
Yeah.
No, that part was really good.
That was very, very fun.
I love that. If you go though, I can understand Rick. Like, you know, last time we saw Ahsoka was shortly after watching her in like the best lightsaber fight of her versus Maul.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you come to this where she's wielding a spear, where you're like, oh man, you could do some stuff like this. But you know, I understand like the difference in the fighting there. But
Yeah. She's no Maul.
yeah, and it's how many years later, and maybe she hasn't had to fight a whole lot or something, you know, or maybe she has, and a lot of her stuff has been practiced into hiding, you know.
Yeah.
Because
She's
that's
still-
what she might have to do.
She's still on the same path though. Still helping people
Yep.
out in the galaxy
Being what a Jedi should be, not what she's told she should
Still
be.
not a Jedi.
with new sabers, new colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, it's the, it makes you think, like, maybe after a while it fades or something, or, like, the idea of her not being affiliated with anybody, she's just, you know, like, they call it, like, a gray Jedi, right? Which, I don't love that concept, but the coloring it with the lightsaber is pretty cool.
And her cloak was gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
know.
it was on fire.
And it looks just so much better than the Darksaber that I'm happy we got an actual lightsaber on here.
You have those fight the dark saber. You have like these like white bright sabers versus like this thing that doesn't give off light.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see her again, or if that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's like her sending him to Tython, which it is a Jedi planet.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that-
It's the first Jedi planet.
It is the first Jedi planet you go to. You start there as either the Jedi on Star Wars: The Old Republic. When you first said The Old Republic, I was going to KOTOR. I was like, Tython line, KOTOR at all.
Nope.
Yeah, I thought you were talking.
Why I would have said nice.
I was like, I got to the first planet and that wasn't it.
In SWTOR though, like you start off, the Jedi start here.
First planet when that was Terrace.
The troopers and the smugglers start over here. So
Now, Tython, I mean, of course, the Old Republic put it into that, but even before that, in the old expanded universe, Tython was always kind of what Korriban is to the Sith, Tython is to the Jedi. It's like the first, it's where the Jedi Order itself was born, not necessarily the Jedi themselves.
yeah, because
you know?
in the Old Republic, it goes over where there's like kind of some misunderstandings of who owns it because of the Twi'leks are also there too and stuff. So it's like an old Twi'lek planet. It's like where the Jedi have their stuff. There's some mixed up stuff there.
But bringing it back into canon is really interesting. I think this is the first time in like Disney canon we've mentioned Tython.
yeah, I think it's been
Even though, you know, there is kind of almost a competing nature here now, though, because Tython is like, in my head, that's the Jedi homeworld. But then in The Last Jedi, we say the first Jedi temple on Ahch-To. So I wonder if there's like a different, you know, is that kind of murky and like, well, which one is it? Which one's the first Jedi planet? Or is this the first temple where a Jedi trained or learned to connect with the Force, and then maybe this is where the Order itself, Tython, came to be, you know?
What words did she use?
She just said Tython, and then there's a temple there with a seeing stone.
Yeah, she just said like.
She didn't say first or anything. I'm bringing the first stuff in because that's what Tython is in the expanded universe, the first Jedi temple.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't.
They're competing natures in that regard.
Okay.
I mean, what I'm saying is like Disney could say, well, fuck it, Typhon's not, it's just which I'll accept because they can do whatever the hell they want with the new
No,
canon.
sure. I mean, it could be where it could still be where the Jedi Order like begins, but maybe that stems from the first Jedi temple that's found elsewhere originally. You know,
On Ahch-To. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe something along those lines. I don't know.
She's after someone that I don't know much about, but I know the name, Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do know the name.
We talked about him, I think, recently too, where he originated from old legend stories. Heir of the
Empire trilogy by Timothy Zahn.
Which could be interesting if they maybe pull in any of that kind of stuff too from those books, because that took place after Return of the Jedi, where he was around and pushing in like, what's the Empire going to be? What's the story after that? Well, Admiral Thrawn was a big part of that.
Yep. Joris Kaboth was in there. He was the clone of a Jedi.
The conversation we had about a lizard thing that could like hinder Force abilities.
Yeah.
That was involving the stories with Admiral Thrawn and stuff.
Yeah, the
he would
Yala Samurai
Like,
or something like
yeah,
that.
there was like a lizard thing. He would carry it like in a backpack or something like that, and it had like this forceless bubble where like things couldn't use the Force within that bubble. So it made it much more even as far as fights and stuff too for him, because he could counter your Force.
It's like kryptonite.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. He would just like wear them like on his shoulders, like almost like a fox pelt or something. But I love the idea that he had in a backpack. It's like,
I was pretty sure he had a pack for a while.
no, they like adhere themselves to trees. So once they're on something, they stay there for like a super long time. So he literally just put them on his shoulders.
Man, I was thinking he wore it like a backpack. Maybe it's not that he wore it in a backpack.
No, not in a backpack. I just love the idea of him
like Yoda.
So this magistrate's master is Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This woman, what they call her, Morgan, right?
Morgan
Elsbeth. Elspeth or Elsbeth?
I got
Was it with a P or B?
Beth.
B.
Yeah, it was Beth.
So she was around in the Clone Wars, they said, right? And then she
built the Imperial Starfleet.
working on building.
Yeah. Yeah, her people were like mostly destroyed, and from what she was saying, she channeled her anger into something constructive.
Maybe that's why I was like, are these guys Imperial? Because I felt there was little things about them, like the way their armor was and the way the lights were over here and stuff, that made me think Imperial. But then I'm like, well, maybe they're not Imperial. But maybe they had some ties, but they weren't
if nothing
Imperial.
else, they could just be like a contractor of.
It absolutely is. Just like the clone army was literally a contracted army from the Kaminoans. The Empire, like the Snyder fleet systems is like in the ODU, and they've even said it in New Canon too. Like, so maybe she's connected to that because they were ones that like they would create weapons and starships and stuff. We also have in The Last Jedi again. We have all the people that are on the casino planet like talking about like, well, who do you think builds these things? And they sell it. That's how they make money, you know?
Yeah, they build things for both sides.
Yeah, they found all the blueprints and stuff. I was like, oh, TIE fighters and X-Wings are all Sinai.
Yeah.
I wonder what they...
Who province?
I wonder what they are there. Like, it's just interesting. Like, you know, it's the idea of like stormtroopers and snowtroopers, and like they have different outfits for different things. I wonder why they do that, because it must not be. I don't know. Like, is it the atmosphere? Is it an alien species under there, kind of like the Keldor, and that's why like you know, Plo Koon has those special like things so that he can breathe in normal air. But it can't be that bad because like Ahsoka seems fine and
I just assume it's just they've been on their RPG adventure for a while and gathered some cool loot and
that's their cool loot. Yeah. Like, can't see my face. I got to breathe in this tube.
Or it's a matter of like. Maybe they're actually from this town and they don't want their family and friends, their old family friends, to see their face because they've turned to the magistrate, you know?
I mean, if this was at all inspired by Princess Mononoke, their masks look a lot like the mask from Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind, which is another Miyazaki movie. So maybe it just inspired from that.
Maybe.
I mean, next time we see Dave, we can ask him.
I was just curious on it, with them wearing the tube and stuff, makes me think of like, okay, they can't breathe. Why do they need this? My first thought is just like, oh, maybe it's an alien race that needs a special type of atmosphere to breathe.
Maybe they need it because they have a mask on. It's hard to breathe.
Don't wear that mask.
No,
maybe
you gotta have the mask, Aaron.
Maybe it's a kind of alien.
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be defenses against like bio attacks too.
Yeah, maybe. Like remember the Umbara, right? Like they had their little glass cases and stuff like that, but there was like a reasoning of what they did and everything in the atmosphere and stuff. And
they were like just huffing steroids.
Yeah, like they were like it was like an adrenaline buff and stuff. And
I really loved the inclusion of an HK droid, 2 HK droids. This was HK 87.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which HK is in Knights of the Old Republic?
40,
HK
40. Right.
It's 47. Yeah, you're right.
HK 47.
And then we had 50s in the Old Republic, I think. But it's 4,000 years later, and it's 87.
Hey, how many editions do you need?
Yeah, how can you perfect it?
Maybe make it stand up a little bit faster over a roof crest.
Yeah, it's HK-47, absolutely. And now that you said that, I'm like, I doubt myself even thinking that it wasn't HK-47.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
There's also a 50, 51, and a 55.
Mm-hmm. Which I believe
51?
50s in Knights Republic 2, and then 51s and the other ones are in Tor, I think.
That's what I was, yeah. I don't know about Knights of Republic 2, but yeah, I think you can get an HK-51 droid in the Old Republic MMOs.
Yeah. But yeah. I absolutely adored that guy that was, the Asian guy. Calvin's little old Asian lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, before Mandalorian came down, he was going to go out and like, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna do something.
Yeah.
And it turns out he was like, I mean, if just looking at his outfit at the end, it seemed like he was maybe the former leader or something.
Well, it might not even be that. It might be that they made him the former.
Because he was
they made him the leader now.
Yeah.
You know, like
he was going to go out.
Because he was willing to do that. Because he was trying to take care of the kids. Because he cared enough.
Yeah.
But make him the leader then.
Gotcha.
Or no, maybe it could have been like she came in here and took over what the city was before. And this was the old guy who was in charge, and now he's just he was trying to make people survive the best.
That's what I kind of got that feeling by the end,
too.
like, oh, maybe with the kids and stuff, he's like, look, this is what we have to do to survive. You're still following what I'm saying, but
you got to reforge the hell.
I'm curious on, like we know the age, right? The 50 years that we had with Grogu. But the idea of like he was there, he was being trained.
Yeah.
Then, like someone took him from the temple, and he's had mini masters over time. And like, whoa, what? So like he was on Coruscant. It's like Yoda knew of this kid,
Yeah.
Like he must have
almost definitely trained him.
Like
he's trained by many masters.
It's just interesting to think, like, man, well then who took him from the temple and hit him?
How many years is this after?
This is like 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
So 5 years till then, 20, 25, 28, 38. Okay, I mean, Ahsoka said, like, I've only known one of these species. But I'm like, fucking Yaddle's there, But I guess Ahsoka, in terms of her age, she wouldn't. Yaddle was 10 years before Episode 2. We didn't see Yaddle after 2 and 3, so it's possible she didn't know who Yaddle was.
Wasn't there, might have been a Legends of the story or something. Wasn't Yaddle supposedly killed by Episode 2? I feel like that was a story somewhere.
I don't know.
Or maybe I'm just making that up. I don't know.
But regardless, I was just trying to think of that.
I'm sure Dave Filoni knows.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he knows.
Yeah, I'm saying,
why would I doubt him?
But yeah, if Yaddle's not around during Episode 2, I don't know when Ahsoka necessarily started, but maybe, I mean, that could easily be true for her. And also most people, I feel like most people don't know what a Yaddle is. You know what I mean?
Oh. Yeah. You think this show cares?
No, I'm just saying, like, I think that's what I'm saying, they don't care because they're like, she's not gonna be like, I don't even know 2 of these species in my life. Like, what?
Sure.
What about this one?
Dave is the guy to be, like, if George was writing this and said that and the time didn't work out, he'd be like, well, George. And George would be like, shut up. Yaddle was a mistake. It was just Yoda cross-dressing.
The same scene.
Grogu. It's gonna be so hard calling him Grogu.
Grogu.
Yeah.
Master Grogu. No.
I'm gonna call him Crackerot.
Why?
Crackerot?
Goku. Kakarot. Grogu. Crackerot.
Crackerot. It's like a rotting cracker.
That's his Saiyan name.
Rotting cracker.
His real name.
This is ridiculous.
I loved every time the Grogu. Eh?
Yeah.
He responded like a dog.
The scene where,
like when you have a little puppy and you're like, Sam.
Yeah.
They look. I don't know why Sam.
But the scene where they like are communing, and like Mando's like outside the light of the circle.
He just keeps walking.
But that was just so. The episode really had a bunch of moments where it just allowed it to breathe.
Dude, that
like
same
30
shot,
seconds of just nothing.
with like the moon in the background and everything.
Yeah.
It was a very nice shot. I liked it. I liked the art they had later on too, where it was like night and it showed like had like Ahsoka there with like moonlight hitting her and stuff too, and that was really cool. I
Did Dave write this one too?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah. Written and directed.
I don't know, fantastic writing where he literally, takes that ball, it's in his pocket, and then he uses it later,
I was like, he's right there at the ship
it is
when
fun.
He takes it from him.
Just,
why does he put it in his pocket rather than just throw it back in the ship. It stays with the ship, right?
Yeah, I mean, it like using that to facilitate the attachment that this child has to him, to the ship, to the things that they've been doing, to, you know. And, you know, I mean, Ahsoka, in terms of the old Jedi, the way things were, yeah, she's right. He's too attached, but, I mean, it always comes back to Return of the Jedi. Luke doesn't win because he's a good Jedi. He doesn't win because he doesn't have attachment. He wins because he loves his father, you know? He says, fuck you, fuck all these things. You don't own my dad. That's my dad, not yours. And Palpatine gets pissed off, and that's what saves Anakin, you know? So I just wonder if this is like another like step towards, you know what, attachment's not a bad thing.
I wonder which step towards what Jedi it could be.
Yeah, like what Jedi's gonna hear the call?
Yeah, like
There's not a lot left.
could we get I don't know, Sebastian Stan
As Luke Skywalker.
as like a younger Luke Skywalker.
gosh.
I've heard that as like an idea for like people like maybe
Another
young
fan
Luke-
casting.
I know, like
Rosario Dawson was too.
take this, make this guy like a young Mark Hamill. He could be a Luke Skywalker. Like, could you put him in there? He shows up. Like that could be kind of cool. Although the other side of me wants this little Yoda to grow up and have to try to figure out the Force.
Yeah.
It's like, go find this old Master Skywalker. Go find him, and you find this old. What do you want? You know, and he gets. It's a reverse on Luke having to find Yoda. Is this little Yoda having to find old Master Luke?
Like, imagine if
thrown with him.
Luke is like, mine. He's like hitting the Lord.
Like it'd be so
Fine,
fun.
Luke Skywalker. You sing Skywalker.
I think he would. I think Mark Hamill would have fun doing that. You know,
you would
it would be so good.
That'd be so. What is he like Jafar? Whenever he's that one guy.
I just in my head I started thinking about that. Like that'd be so good. I'd love it. You would
It
love
wouldn't
it.
trick us at all.
It wouldn't, but you'd love it, wouldn't you? Could you?
Yes, I'd love it.
Mark Hamill would have so much fun with that.
Ridiculous.
I don't know which one I want more. Like a young Sebastian Luke Skywalker guy, or just Yoda having to go find old Luke in like another, I don't know.
30 years.
Yeah. when Yoda's in his teens.
Man, can you imagine if like Mandalorian brought the baby and hands it to Ahsoka, and we kind of play the music from The Last Jedi in the beginning, and she's like,
She just fucking throws him over his shoulder? No!
oh, someone has to do a comic of that.
The last episode would have had Mandalorian walking through the woods, going through, and
Yeah.
there he is. He just.
So that's about all I got.
Well, Mandalorian got a new legendary weapon.
He's got a Beskar.
There's no way he doesn't fight off Gideon with that, right? That's why you'd set up that this thing can fight lightsabers. Gideon has a lightsaber, they can now fight.
Gotta be.
I loved him like blocking with his Beskar too. It was so
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah.
I love the sound that it makes when
Me
he was
too.
blocking with him.
Yeah.
With the, like,
I just love how he tested it too on the Beskar.
Oh, that was fantastic.
The resonance.
You could still do the idea of like Mandalorians fighting against these Force-controlled stormtroopers, but instead of having like before, I was like, oh, Ahsoka fighting Gideon with sabers, that could be kind of cool. But instead, you have Mandalorian fighting Gideon with the spear.
I would say this is absolutely not the last time we see Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. But maybe this season, it could be.
I mean,
Whether it's her future episodes of The Mandalorian
Well,
or she gets her own fucking show because it's awesome.
it feels like she's doing something else, you know. So I
has her own
I don't know how much of a crossover they are. You know, if Grand Admiral Thrawn's doing some Empire stuff over here,
Yeah.
Moff Gideon's doing some stuff over here, like there might not be much crossover. They might both be trying to get that vacuum of power.
Yeah.
Both of them could be trying to take it. So there might not be crossover themselves in those two,
Yeah, like
but it could be another story that maybe we could visit or something later on. It'd be cool.
Thrawn could be the villain after Gideon is dealt with.
You could do that. Like you take care of him this season, and then you have something else the next season that you have to deal with.
well, yeah, it's like the mid-game boss.
Yeah.
That in the opening was the bad guy that your hero's going after, and you finally get him, and in his dying breath, he's like, "Ha! You don't even know the half of it."
Yeah.
So who do you cast as Thrawn? I don't know enough about him.
Well, in all the
Jeremy
the
Irons.
stuff, he is a maybe.
Charles Dance.
He's a Chiss.
From the Chiss Ascendancy.
He's
yes.
gonna be blue.
Just
Kind of
great.
got dark hair.
Is he like older?
I mean, he could
Yeah.
be.
I wish Alan Rickman was still alive.
Alan Rickman.
I mean, I wish it every day, but right now especially.
Grand Admiral Thrawn. Back in the day, the fan casting for obviously we had Mark Hamill back as Luke. They did all the characters from Heir to the Empire, and Jeremy Irons won as Thrawn. Like, that would be good.
Maybe if he can be like a little bit
Yeah.
older, and it might work, right? Because how old is Jeremy Irons now?
Older.
In his 60s?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it just depends.
All right. Well, I think that's all I got.
I love the Yoda theme.
Is the Seeing Stone something that's been established before?
A Seeing Stone?
I think it's similar to. Maybe it's similar to like the pool of water that Luke has in the temple in Octu.
I mean, maybe there's different things that have been used to help enhance force powers and stuff. So I mean,
the key from the holiday special that lets you know the time.
Sure, like that. Like there's different things like that have been like. I don't know about a Seeing Stone necessarily.
It's a Palantir.
But I'm
Dave
not.
Filoni is not afraid of going to Lord of the Rings
No,
stuff.
it's more of a beacon, right?
Of Gondor?
Is this gonna signal?
I have no idea. He'll be able to make his choice there.
And
I know what that means.
It should be hopefully a little safer now too, because you don't have like Palpatine and you don't have Vader and stuff. So to send out a signal in the Force, the people that should recognize it hopefully aren't evil.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, I mean, that's what Denethor thought, and then Sauron found him.
Yeah, but that's because Sauron was still around.
Well, I mean, Palpatine is literally still around. So I don't know what to tell you guys. That's what they thought too. All right, so in this special segment of the Q&A, we're going to start with Riley. He said, without spoiling Rebels, do Calvin and Rick know who Grand Admiral Thrawn is? Which spoils Rebels, so I didn't read that question.
That's a ridiculous.
I just thought it was funny. But, I mean, they've heard the name. One of my best parts of my Black Series collection is there's a Grand Admiral Thrawn collectible convention figure that I actually had Timothy Zahn sign for me, the creator of Grand Admiral Thrawn, and I talk about that all the time. So they, just by osmosis of being around me and us, know Grand Admiral Thrawn, but they're definitely not familiar with Heir to the Empire, i.e. reading it, just kind of generally knowing it, I know some Marvel superheroes. I've read some comic books.
I will say, that's why, in conversation too, I was like, oh, Admiral Thrawn, he was in Legends, because legend-wise, that's a thing that, I feel like it's talked about. Not everyone always knows it, but it's okay to talk about it because it's not canon either, and it's not something that we're reacting to, you know. So we want to talk about that and be like, well, here's some context as to what that character is, and that takes place after Return of the Jedi. I was like, I'll talk about this stuff, but I'm not gonna be like, well, in Rebels he does this.
Yeah, we've already started recording some Rebels, but we've gone to great lengths. They have no idea that Ahsoka's in it. They have no idea Thrawn's in it. We're keeping it that way as long as Mandalorian doesn't tell us.
As long as we can, best we can.
Maniac says, how do you feel about Beskar being able to deflect a lightsaber? I would say it's consistent with Beskar from the Expand universe. They've always been able to do that. Not forever, but nothing can forever. A lightsaber will eventually cut through.
What about a lightsaber?
What did I say?
You said nothing. Nothing's forever.
Oh.
It eventually cut through. Will it cut through a lightsaber?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the lightsaber being this magical weapon in the show. Eventually, you'll cut through it, but it's the same reason why Qui-Gon can't just cut through everything. He has to melt it for a while and really try hard. Beskar is obviously way more dense than even that Durasteel. So
maybe.
But I mean, if you pressed against it for a very long time, eventually it would cut, but not really in combat. So that's just that's nothing new. That's always been the case.
I have no issues with that.
Yeah, Keenan says, holy shit, what an episode. I didn't even mind Ahsoka not being played by Ashley. Thrawn name drop. And we got HK droids just like in Knights of the Republic. Did you guys catch the sound of Ahsoka's owl when Mando was looking for her? Do you guys think it's the last we see of her? I actually didn't even notice the sound. I saw it, and my ears started ringing a little bit, so I didn't hear anything.
Your ears started ringing?
Yeah, I don't know. There's something so special about that this is written by Dave, directed by Dave. He's putting that in there,
Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed the episode, and a lot of what they did with it was great. I don't really have too many issues with, letting Dave take a character he created and bring it into live action.
Now, a lot of people were mentioning, now that we can talk about it a little more open without the other guys, in terms of the Jedi that could show up on the top of the mountain, Ezra is definitely one of them.
Ezra's possibility. It depends on what's going on here. Like, is Ahsoka still looking for Thrawn because of Ezra?
Yeah.
Or is it because of, like, did they find Ezra and he got and Admiral Thrawn got away? And, you know, like, it depends on what's going on there. But is there a possibility where, sure, could Grogu find Ezra? Could it be to Luke?
Yeah.
Could it be to Leia? Could it be to, because Leia's in training right now, right? Like,
I mean, could it be a
that's
Force
essentially what
Ghost?
they're doing. Maybe it could be a Force Ghost. That could be, maybe it could be Yoda. You know, like
Maybe it could be. Maybe it could be.
You're right about
Hayden Christensen. I don't know.
Maybe you're right too. Jedi Fallen Order. We had
Cal Kestis.
Cal. Yeah. Like possible. Maybe he could be like we didn't end that necessarily in a way where it's like, oh man, well he's not around anymore. So maybe he could be doing something somewhere. Other Jedi though, like there's not too many. Like Ahsoka even says, like there's not many Jedi left around. So it is limited on who we could bring in.
Yeah, and obviously we didn't say this either, but the owl specifically is called the Morai. Many people talking about the Morai here. But yeah, a lot of people are talking about it could be Luke. I'm not sure. 5 years after Return of the Jedi, I don't think they could pull off with Mark Hamill unless they just did some de-aging stuff, which, I mean, Disney has that, but would they spend all that money to do it, or would they recast, or I don't know.
I think Sebastian's pretty good.
It's close. It's not as close as the picture makes it seem.
No.
But it's pretty close.
I think it'd be close enough that I would be like, okay, I can deal with this, you know? But I don't know. I don't know what the best option for that is.
Riley says, who do you think saved Grogu from the Jedi Temple? Could it be Palpatine? We know Palpatine used the Jedi Temple, like there's a Sith Temple under it, and he would just walk around there, just being happy. Do you think that Palpatine did anything? Maybe that's why the client and the doctor and Gideon know about the...
You think old Sheevy was up to something?
Maybe.
I don't know. Could be a possibility. I mean, not a lot of younglings got out, but as small as it would have been, you know, Mandalorian carries him around. Like Grogu just sitting in his bag, you know? Like maybe he was smuggled out. Maybe it was Organa. I don't know. Maybe it was... Like he was trying to help Jedi and all kinds of stuff. Like I wouldn't put it past him. Like maybe he helped get him out, you know?
Yeah. Gorashi says, this was a very lore-heavy episode. All those name drops. Loved it. Do you guys think that Thrawn could be Gideon's supervisor in order to the creation of the Dark Troopers? Do you think that Gideon and Thrawn are connected at all?
I don't know. I mean, I'm really thinking that it could go along the lines of, like, there is a power vacuum. You know, the Empire's in different places. You have First Order maybe somewhere trying to, like, take form. You have... You know, Gideon, maybe you could have Thrawn.
Gideon seems more fanatical than Thrawn. Thrawn, I feel like, truly believes in the Empire, whereas Gideon could truly believe in the Emperor, if that makes sense.
Maybe. So, I don't know. Like, I could see them being together, but I could also see them being, like, different factions of the remnants of the Empire.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so those were a couple of the Q&As that have spoilers in them. Now we're going to go to Q&As with Calvin and Rick.
I like in this season that they've added in like sounds that Baby Yoda, Grogu, you know, that he's been saying.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like there's just been like
I'm still on 1 hour ago.
It's just been like from last season, like he didn't talk like at all, you know. And I saw some people be like, "Man, he's 50 years old. Shouldn't he be like this age? He should be making noises, talking, saying something." But maybe because of being in hiding and having like maybe he just stays in that. They kept him in that damn ball thing. He had no one to communicate with, you know.
Just people give you those kind of things. Just be like, it's in space. That's all you have to say.
I guess.
I don't know what their fate is, but if they continue on the animated route, what if the Jedi he reaches out to is Canon or Ezra?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of like what they want to bring in, and having Dave Filoni in there and stuff too. Just like obviously he's pulling from stuff that he's done, you know.
As you can tell, we've already started recording Rebels reactions.
Yeah, Rick knows what a Canon is.
They're right there. See them.
We also don't know if they survive it.
No, I said I don't know their fate.
Yeah. All right, we are going to start with Julian, who says, did you guys like Rosario Dawson's portrayal of Ahsoka, or would you have preferred Ashley to come back and see her play the character again? I thought she was perfectly acceptable as a, and that's like the highest praise I can give because I'm fiercely loyal to an actor staying in their role. So acceptable right now is my limit. I'm not gonna say better because I never do that because I'm loyal as hell, you know. But acceptable.
Well, that would be saying that this performance is better than Ashley's.
I recognize Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually really hard to do.
I recognize her as Ahsoka. The voice sounded good. Yeah, I don't know if having Ashley do the role would have been what I wanted necessarily. I'm not sure. You know, like I don't know how. I only know her as a voice actress. You know,
Sure.
I've never seen her in anything else or anything, and I know she's really good as a voice actress. But Rosario Dawson's done all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Spencer Pauly says, do you guys think that Clone Wars characters are overshadowing Mando? The only way I would actually agree with that is not the show's fault at all. It is merely fan response. Fans talk about that stuff because they love Clone Wars. They want to talk about that thing. But the show, I feel like, handles it where it's central to the Mandalorian story, central to Grogu's story. Ahsoka here only exists to further along that thing. You know, he gets to a new planet, he gets his quest line, he finishes the thing, he gets his reward, then he goes on to the next. It's an RPG, you know? She's just as of right now, it's like a glorified cameo, you know? I mean, if she just joined the group and she was on the Razor Crest and Bo was there as well, then yeah. But otherwise, I think it's just fan response, with that criticism.
Yeah, because we see her in the episode, but, like, there's very little reference to things in the past.
Yeah, it's not pushing.
So if it weren't for Clone Wars, this could be a one-off character that we've had no attachment to in the past, and they don't play that up in the episode.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been. You could have brought back that Snake Jedi guy from the Jedi Council, you know?
Uncle Rancis. Yeah.
You just bring him in there, like, who? You're gonna find him. And, like, people are like, what the hell is this guy?
Just another Clone Wars thing. Alex says, do you guys think that Luke could feel Grogu's connection when he's at the temple and maybe make an appearance? Perhaps played by Sebastian Stan, a far-out possibility, but a welcome one.
We talked about it.
We need Grogu.
Grogu.
You keep saying Grogu.
Nah, that's what I'm calling him.
No, it's Grogu.
Fine, Cracker Rot.
I don't know. Luke finding him, I think, could be a cool idea, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I don't want him to find him and take him back to his temple because then Kylo Ren blows it up and everyone's dead.
But like, what is this show if...
Don't they just scatter?
If Grogu leaves the Mandalorian and gets trained, like, what's this show then, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, what's his mission and stuff, too, yeah.
Well, it's not Baby Yoda or Grogu. It's the Mandalorian.
You're right.
Still follow him.
It could be like, this is Act 1, you know, and then you have to move on.
He passes off his ward to its rightful place, and then it's like, oh shit, there's this guy that's trying to take over this sector of the galaxy. I need to stop that.
I think that covers those tracks, but I agree with Rick. This show is about that father-son relationship.
Yeah.
And I have to point out, actually made me tear up, the moment he's like, all right, kid, we're taking you. Like when he goes to get him out of his little hammock.
Goodbye.
And then he just like stands with him for a bit. Like it montages it where it like fades, and then it's just him holding the kid while he's sleeping, and then it fades again. Like we don't know how long he did that for, you know? Like
it was long enough for like Ahsoka to party, and then leave, and come and see where he's been.
I love the moment, just because it's so much about the connection between those two, but it was fully on Mandalorian because Baby Yoda's asleep at that point. You know, he's just a dad holding his kid, not wanting to give him up.
Yeah, and I mean it's touching, and you can't see his face.
Yeah,
so like you know that he's sad and attached, but you can't see that from the actor.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do we think Gideon will find Ahsoka, or is Gideon? Because last episode, and they didn't touch on it all this episode, which I thought was going to be a thing. There was like a tracker planted on Razor Crest, and I was like, "Oh man, they're going to find. He's going to lead him to Ahsoka." But with him leaving now, do you think they're still going to find Ahsoka, maybe, or are they going to follow him to like Tython or something?
I think it's very possible, but less possible now that this episode is played out.
I don't think Ahsoka's going to stick around.
Maybe not. But like, could we see like in the finale of the season, could Gideon have Ahsoka? Like, he came down and
I get what you mean.
Like,
I'd put it like at
we
a.
talked about it last time.
I'd put it at like a 45% chance. Pretty high, honestly, but maybe not.
We talked about some last time, but it wasn't like a part of the episode like I thought it was going to be. It was something that they didn't even mention in this episode. So is that going to be something that's how they find him later? Or is it going to be used to actually find Ahsoka here because he came here and they have record of that or something?
In terms of my predictions for this episode, I absolutely did not think that the child would leave the story. I did think that Dark Troopers could be fodder for Ahsoka cutting people up. I was wrong on that one, because she's cutting fuckers up, but not those Dark Troopers.
And bells.
And the bell. That was a great shot that was. Dip says, if you had some Beskar and could make just one weapon out of it, what would you make?
Depends how much Beskar I had.
Yeah, depends how much I had, but...
I mean, if I had enough for the spear, like, you gotta make a spear. That's just the best weapon.
Can it be a firearm?
It's pretty good, but maybe I'd go for a sword so I could have a firearm and a sword.
I can have a firearm and a spear.
Because you can't effectively use a spear with
you can use a
hands.
spear and a shield effectively.
I have this and I have this.
You're like both hands. Like, these are two guns.
I'm just saying, if you're having a spear and this, it's hard, you know?
I don't know. Maybe.
Just depends on the weight of the spear.
The thing I love about the spear, though, Rick has a point. Like, it's you have the range, but also since it's not like a piece of wood that can be cut by a sword.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have that. Oh shit! Oh, Jackie Chan always has that. Like, oh damn! I just have these now.
Yeah.
Now I have two weapons.
Yeah, but they're shorter. But you can still have that spear with that pointing in and be able to block and do everything you need to with this.
You really gotta have Beskar gloves and the spear, because whenever they were fighting, I was like, you're doing this, you're holding the spear. Just do this, and you're gonna cut off your fingers.
Well, there was one time she blocked like this, and caught it on the underside of the spear haft. And the momentum should have carried through and just sliced her fingers off.
Yeah.
There's a thing in Star Wars where, to protect against that, lightsabers kind of attract to each themselves. They're kind of sticky.
I know.
You know,
it was
it's like
to the Beskar.
True. But what I'm saying is that I think it's possible that the Beskar could have some of the same properties of that. Maybe you can't do that.
Maybe.
But I think I'm gonna go with a sword just because I feel like in terms of having range, I have a gun. In terms of short range, I might want an actual side blade versus just a pointy end, That's at range. So I'm gonna go with a sword.
I don't know, if I'm fighting someone with Jedi.
Yeah, it kind of depends who you're fighting, because if you're fighting a Jedi, like...
I don't want to get close.
Yeah, you need that spear.
You need the range to keep them away.
Because it's so hard for a single sword user to beat a single spear user.
It would have been so cool if she was fighting, like, with a spear. Like... That'd have been fun. I wish we would have done that. I wonder how well, what's his name, Jin?
Who?
What's the Mandalorian's name?
Din Djarin.
Din Djarin.
I wonder how well he can fight with a spear.
He uses his ion disruptor rifle.
Yeah, it's not the same.
But he uses it as a hafted weapon.
He's gonna be like
against the big lizard guys in the canyon.
It's gonna be like Link from Breath of the Wild, where like he's running up a hill and just on his back he's got the bow and arrow and a shield and sword and arrows, and they're all just.
I gotta say, all of you guys that stay up to watch Mandalorian at 3 a.m., you're done at 4, and then you put in Q&As. Do you guys go to sleep? How can you watch this and go to sleep? I couldn't do that. I'd be up for 6 more hours.
6 more hours?
Yeah, I'd just be too excited.
I mean, they could be from different time zones.
They could also just have
This guy's
amazing
American.
dreams of the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just dreaming.
Eric, think about a lucid dream of this episode.
But what if they just couldn't go to sleep knowing the Mandalorian was out and that they weren't watching it?
Yeah, they couldn't sleep then.
Yeah.
They could sleep now because they're like. Oh,
That's why I began to go to sleep at 4 p.m. yesterday.
So it's just a lose-lose.
they're at ease. 4 p.m.
Yep.
That's because of the turkey.
He had ham!
Damn! Matt Bevan said, I love the episode. Seeing Ahsoka and Mando fighting alongside one another was great. Plus, I am so pumped to see what the rest of the season goes after the revelations that came out. Yeah,
2 more, right?
3 more.
3 more?
Yeah, there's 8 total, right?
Yeah.
This is episode 5.
Wait.
6, 7, 8.
I thought this was 6.
Nope.
This was 5.
How'd I fuck up?
I don't know.
Hard to tell.
It's like when you fucked up Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That wasn't me.
Oh yeah! I did like Calvin. I think it was you that pointed out there's like the different instrumental version of the
Yeah.
Mandalorian theme song.
And it was like sped up a bit to make it more like almost like a party theme.
Well, they had that one at the end too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
But
had that at the end
When,
as well.
I think when you mentioned it, there was like a.
it was when she was walking up.
Yeah, and there was like
Right.
a string version. I don't know what it was.
It was it was
uh,
like string version of the flute theme.
Yeah, like that was really cool. I love when I love them doing that. Just like having like a different one, and maybe it's to like maybe that was more like Eastern type of music. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of samurai movies.
I thought I heard a little Return of the Jedi too when they were talking at the end.
It was
Yeah.
like Return of the Jedi ending music, you mean,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yep.
Nub nub. That one.
No.
Nub nub.
Not that one.
That's what I was aiming in my head. Celebration.
The one that replaced that one?
Oh, that one.
No.
Which one was it?
No, not that one either.
Which one?
It's just one of the themes from Return of the Jedi. I can't tell you which one it is. But
Is it a
what
secret?
part of the movie? Excuse me.
Like when she's
like here at the end.
where?
yeah, it's like right when he walks off the ship and she's coming. I felt like I heard
I cannot train you.
right there.
You made me a promise, and I held up my end.
No, that's Ahsoka's theme.
Oh, it sounded like Yoda's theme.
It's got similarities. What I thought you meant was like here, I think.
Where's your little friend?
So this is obviously the Mandalorian's theme, but it sounds like the song that replaced Yub Nub in terms of instrumental. The instruments, listen. The
I just hear Mandalorian theme.
Well, no, it's playing the Mandalorian theme. I'm saying that they're taking the instruments that played that song and playing the Mandalorian theme. Is what it sounds like to me.
Okay.
So it's like Mandalorian, but celebratory.
Damn it, I lost my
Life of
spot.
me, I can't remember the replace theme.
I was just singing it.
I know, but I can't remember what it actually sounds like. You're a paltry.
That's the one I remember the most.
You don't remember Nub Nub?
I mean, the first time I watched it was the special edition.
First time you watched it was a special edition. Was it in the special edition? They removed it as a special edition. When did they change it?
It's in the special
I'm
edition.
pretty sure special edition was the. Dun, dun.
It's special edition.
They swapped out in special edition? Mm-hmm. Man, you never saw Yub Nub?
I mean, I've seen it since, but growing up.
Grew up with the tape.
Yaden Yates says, do you guys think that the Jedi who could come to Grogu could be Luke?
Grogu.
Could it be the Fallen Order lot or a new Jedi? So they're saying maybe could it be Cal Kestis from Fallen Order, who, if you want to bring an actor in there, you already got him.
Well, I mean, he looks exactly like the game.
Yeah, they just made him look like the actor.
I mean, maybe it could be possible.
That
Seems
could be
unlikely,
interesting.
but maybe. Yeah, that's one I grew up with.
Yeah. So if you have that in mind, and then we'll hear this. Like, I feel like the percussion and the flute and stuff is very similar in terms of
It's
just
the same.
It's got a tambourine. I'll give you that.
It's got the same flute.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, this is a celebration song right here.
Now, did they change the ending again when they did the Blu-rays?
They just added more scenes. They
Yeah,
didn't
they just added
change
scenes.
the sound or anything. They had to re-record it to make it longer,
Yeah.
but it's the same song, and it's John Williams doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, that sounds like the re-recorded version. Because the original version on the VHS, it was all like more like a chorus of people rather than like a few individual voices.
That's just later on in that song, I think. It's much more chorusy.
It's chorusy like when the Force Ghosts show up.
Yeah, for sure. Nub nub. But yeah, like back then, like
You sound like Animals Band from the Muppets.
but back then, like they didn't have like all the other planets they cut to and stuff, you know. Like
Yeah.
they didn't do like they didn't show what Naboo and Coruscant and all these other places. Really, it was just different.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy. Like, we have so many Q&As, and they're all pretty much exactly the same.
Did you like it?
All right, the musical man says, is it a coincidence that Din Djarin gets a spear considering Pedro played Oberyn in Game of Thrones? Also, Beskar spear versus Darksaber? Thank the maker. I didn't think about that, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about the
Red
Oberyn.
Viper uses a spear very effectively, and then not so effectively.
I think it is a coincidence that we read that person's name after playing music. But no, yeah, I like the idea of like then he knows how to use a spear. Then he did pretty well in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't do well enough.
He did great. He was too.
Prideful.
No, it was his fault, but not in his lack of skill.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't do that fight to win the fight. He did it to get a confession, and he didn't get one. Anyway, that's gonna be the last Q&A because a lot of them are so much just like, I can't believe it, Ahsoka, and talking about just what we saw in the episode. In terms of questions, that's for another time. All right, so poll for this week is going to be, do you think Grogu, when he gets to...
It's for the poll, Eric.
Sure.
Grogu.
When he gets to the top of that temple on Tython and looks into the Seeing Stone in order to find a new master or make his choice, does that work or does it not work?
Does he connect with some Jedi?
I actually am going to say it does not work. He is going to choose the Mandalorian.
I'm gonna say it's destroyed, and he never even has the option.
So no.
I'm gonna say no. I think that Gideon is gonna get there before Mando.
That's a good thought. I really enjoyed that one. Aaron, just I don't care about yours.
I disagree with what Calvin's gonna say.
Oh, okay.
He's not gonna get there before the Mando.
Yeah.
But I do think they're gonna track him to that and interrupt him trying to Seeing Stone out.
So we're all saying no?
No.
I'm changing mine to yes then.
I don't
but
think
he
he makes
chooses Din Djarin, who is force sensitive. We didn't know.
That's ridiculous. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this. We still have more Mandalorian coming, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on more Mandalorian. And don't forget, we also have full length available over patreon.com/blindwave with our Raw Rider tier where we have the whole reaction in there. Just make sure you watch along with Disney Plus.
Yep.
Also, Rebels starting up, so make sure you subscribe for that too.